One of the purposes of the CBI is to help businesses to retain the people and skills that it needs to grow, and also to deliver prosperity for all. And that's why we think that building diverse and inclusive workplaces is really important to UK growth. The work that we do around helping members to become more diverse and inclusive takes many forms. The main one is identifying best practice and helping to share it amongst our members. The UK business community has made significant progress on diversity and inclusion over the last few years, but there is a significant amount of work still to do. We found that using employers' voice and their experience to help other employers see what progress they can make in their company is a really powerful tool to helping to deliver progress across the business community. Last year, we published a report called Time for Action, the Business Case for Inclusive Workplaces. It set out, first, why businesses should build diverse and inclusive workplaces and the business benefits for doing so. And second, it gave examples of best practice case studies to inspire members on what steps they could take to make their workplaces more diverse and inclusive. The recommendations that you make should be applicable to businesses of all sizes and in all sectors. I think the other important thing is to use case study examples of businesses that demonstrate what can be done in businesses that are small, medium and large, and in a range of sectors. So to give you an example of some of the case studies that we used, we had examples of what large retailers have done on female employment, but we also had examples of how a smaller consulting firm had changed its recruitment practices to become more diverse and inclusive. The second thing that I think it's worth considering when sharing best practice is that reports are very useful, but I think when helping members to think about what their organisation can do, actually creating an environment where members can speak to each other and learn from each other is really very valuable. So after we published the report, we also held our first inclusion conference. This brought together about 20 speakers, speaking on topics including working practices, leadership and management and culture, to give very practical examples about the work that they're doing in their organisation. This really gives an environment for members to think about the work that they're doing in their organisation and ask direct questions to other employers that are taking those steps. It also means that you can create an environment to think about the future of diversity and inclusion in UK business. And I think that that is a very empowering position that business members. I think this work achieved two things. First of all, it established the narrative around diversity and inclusion in the UK to be much broader than the lens with which it was previously looked at. So businesses typically started by looking at gender diversity in their organisation. But as a result of the work that we've done, I think it's helped the business community to think much more broadly about diversity and inclusion across a number of different types of groups. So for example, older people in the workforce, ethnic minority individuals in the workforce, disabled people in the workforce, as part of the policies that businesses have to be diverse and inclusive. It needs to represent people of all different backgrounds. The second thing that it achieved was it increased business interest on this topic. We've typically found that diversity and inclusion is something that members in London and other cities are more advanced on than others. And one of the things that we've been really keen to do is to make sure that this just isn't a London-centric agenda.